You might be familiar with many transgender, lesbian, and gay individuals, but have you ever encountered someone who was born female and later transitioned to male through surgery? You may find this information shocking. So let's start the video. Today, I'll cover a list of famous individuals who were born female. Number 1, Kyler Broadus. Kyler Broadus may not be a traditional celebrity, but he is an important figure worth knowing. He transitioned over 20 years ago and now works as a lawyer focusing on LGBT and transgender rights. Kyler founded and directs the Trans People of Color Coalition, the only group in the U.S. dedicated to the rights of transgender people of color. He also co-founded the Transgender Law and Policy Institute. In 2012, Kyler was the first transgender American to testify before the U.S. Senate for the Employment Non-Discrimination Act. He shared, "The physical transition was about letting the outer world know my internal sense of self. My transition was about living and sharing my truth." Number 2, Balian Bush. Balian, born Ivan, was a successful German pole vaulter. After dealing with a frequent injury, he retired and announced he would undergo gender reassignment surgery. He felt like something was missing from a young age and struggled with changes during puberty, such as growing breasts. He tried to prevent this by overtraining his body to look more masculine. Years later, after his sports career, he chose the name Balian, inspired by a character in the film Kingdom of Heaven, and planned his surgery for that year. Balian has said, "I think my anger drove my success. Feeling uncomfortable in my body made me angry, and I channeled that anger into my sport." Number 3, Ryan Casada. Ryan Casada is a 22-year-old transgender man who is a talented musician, public speaker, writer, filmmaker, and actor. He openly discusses his transition and issues like gender identity disorder, being transgender, and bullying. Ryan was the first openly transgender student at Bayshore High School and worked to use his chosen name in the yearbook and select appropriate bathrooms. He started making music at 6 and now uses his songs and videos to address social justice. Ryan was the first openly transgender artist to perform at Warped Tour. His YouTube channel had over 87,000 subscribers. Number 4, Kai Allams was the first transgender man to play NCAA Division I women's basketball. Born KK, he often felt like a boy growing up. Even though his mother forced him to wear girls' clothes, he'd change into boys' clothes at school and back before going home. Kai first identified as a lesbian in high school, but realized that didn't fit him either. There were concerns about his eligibility to play on the women's team, but NCAA rules allowed it as long as he wasn't taking hormones. NCAA is reviewing how best to include transgender athletes, considering their state identification documents for participation. Kai has been a pioneer for trans athletes. Number 5, Chris Mosier. Chris Mosier started his athletic career as a woman, but transitioned to become a man in 2010. In 2015, he made history by joining Team USA's sprint duathlon men's team for the 2016 World Championship. He became the first openly transgender athlete on a U.S. national team for a sport different from his birth gender. In 2016, Chris was featured in ESPN magazine's Body issue and was the first transgender athlete to appear in a Nike ad. He has shared that he didn't think it was possible to stay competitive after transitioning. Still, he has become more competitive and aims to inspire other athletes to question their gender identity, to remain true to themselves while pursuing their dreams. Number 6, Catastrophe, a hip-hop artist and activist from San Francisco, was born female and is known for talking about his trans identity in his music. He has appeared in documentaries like Poetic License, Pick Up the Mic, Enough Man, and Riot Acts. Catastrophe addresses topics such as community, privilege, intimacy, and self-worth. He has said, "It was meaningful to reach young trans guys looking for themselves in culture. Many wrote to me saying they use my songs to come out to their parents. I didn't aim to impact the community, I just wanted to share my experiences." In October 2009, he co-founded Original Plumbing, the first magazine made by and for trans men. Number 7, Thomas Beatty. Thomas Beatty, born Tracy Lagondino, underwent gender reassignment surgery, but kept his female reproductive organs. This choice allowed him to carry a child after marrying his wife, who could not conceive. They used a donor for artificial insemination. Although Thomas initially had an ectopic pregnancy with triplets, he later successfully carried 3 children. He became the first legally documented male to give birth. Thomas and his wife Nancy eventually divorced under difficult circumstances. Despite the challenges and curiosity from others, Thomas received strong support from his friends and family. Number 8, Aden Dowling. Aden Dowling, a bodybuilder and vlogger, is known for his transition from female to male. Although he didn't make it onto the cover of Men's Health magazine, he was featured in a special edition and became the first transgender man on the cover of Gay Times. Aden's fans, who followed his transition closely, had tried to get him on the Men's Health cover, but failed. He shared how thrilling it was when a stranger recognized him as a man for the first time, saying, "It was like living on cloud 9. It felt like all my Christmases had come at once." Number 9. Buck Angel, born Susan, struggled with feeling uncomfortable in his body for years. He worked as a female model before starting a career as a man in adult films without undergoing surgery. Buck has shared his experiences to help others understand that living as a man without surgery is possible. He has said, "I feel like a man because of my facial and body hair, muscles, and the way I dress. It's not just about physical features, it's about how you see yourself." Buck overcame severe depression and was even at risk of commitment for gender dysphoria. He now uses his story to educate others, saying, "It's not what's between your legs that defines you." His journey is featured in the Netflix documentary Mr. Angel, where he continues to inspire many with his message. Number 10. Laith Ashley. Laith Ashley is a successful transgender man who became well known as an underwear model. He was one of the first trans men to get a national modeling deal with Barney's. Laith felt uncomfortable with his body and mind as early as age 5. At 17, he came out as gay to his parents, but later realized he was transgender. He began modeling just 2 years after transitioning. Laith shared that being recognized while walking to the gym or the store is exciting and surprising. He admits that the attention can be overwhelming, mainly since he never aimed to be a role model. Laith has faced emotional struggles, dealing with negative comments and feeling overwhelmed by his new role. Despite this, he continues to navigate the challenges and recognition of his career. Number 11. Andreas Kreger. Andreas Kreger was born Heidi Kreger and competed as a female shot putter on the East German athletics team. At 18, he started showing more masculine traits because East German officials were secretly doping him with anabolic steroids. He was unaware of this at the time. In 1997, Andreas underwent gender reassignment surgery and changed his name. He expressed mixed feelings about his transition. "It's hard to say if I would still be Heidi today. I wish I could have made the choice myself." He experienced some gender dysphoria before the drugging, but wanted to transition on his terms, not forced by external factors. Andreas also had to retire from athletics due to pain from lifting heavy weights while on steroids. He felt deprived of the chance to decide his gender and transition on his own. Number 12. Chaz Bono. Chaz Bono, originally named Chastity Bono and the child of famous entertainers Sonny and Cher, first identified as a lesbian. In 2008, he transitioned to male and legally changed his name. Chaz has become a well-known LGBT activist, working with organizations like the Human Rights Campaign and serving as the director of GLAAD. He has said, "I confuse gender identity with orientation. Your gender identity is about who you are and how you feel, while your orientation is about who you're attracted to." Chaz talked about feeling out of place as an actor and stepping away from it for a while. He realized he was transgender and needed to find a different path. Despite his struggles, he has made a significant impact through his activism and advocacy. Number 13. Ian Harvey, comedian. Ian Harvey came out as a gay woman at 19, but decided to transition to male in his 30s. He often talks about his experiences as a trans man in his stand-up comedy, noting that laughter can be a deep, vulnerable experience. Ian has appeared in the TV show Transparent and was recently cast in Mistresses. He has discussed how being a trans man sometimes leads to what he calls male privilege, where people might see him as just another man rather than noticing he's transgender. He acknowledges that this privilege can make it easier for him to be accepted in society. Ian's career shows how he uses his unique perspective to connect with others and challenge stereotypes through comedy. Number 14. Ryan Salins. Ryan Salins, born Kimberly Ann Salins, is an author and activist focusing on topics like eating disorders, body image, gender identity, and LGBT youth. He began his transition in 2005, starting with hormone therapy and a bilateral mastectomy. In 2006, he had a hysterectomy, and in 2008, he underwent a metoidioplasty. During this time, he changed his name and appeared in the Logo documentary Gender Rebel. In 2012, he published a memoir titled Second Son, Transitioning Toward My Destiny, Love and Life. Ryan has shared that the most important thing is to honor one's true self, even when facing relationship challenges. He learned that trying to change himself to make others comfortable only made him more uncomfortable. Ryan's work aims to support and empower LGBT youth while sharing his journey and insights. Number 15. Michaelia Ayla. Adu Michaelia Ayla. Adu, the 20-year-old child of singer Sade, recently came out as transgender. Ayla had previously identified as a lesbian, but announced his transition on Instagram on National Coming Out Day. He shared a post saying, "Today is the first day of the rest of my life, April 10th, 16, marking the start of his hormone therapy." The post included hashtags like #self-made man, #finally, and #shot day. It's unknown whether Ayla will change his name or keep it. Although Sade has not publicly commented on Ayla's transition, Ayla has expressed their close bond. For Sade's birthday last year, Hila posted a heartfelt photo with a caption praising Sade as the most important person in my life and shared how much they loved and appreciated her. So, which one of the guys you knew and supposed that he was born male? Let us know in the comments below. But before you leave, hit the bell icon and subscribe to my channel.